Right now, on the last movie review talk of 2018, this is it. Just you and me, my favorite movies of the year. Hey there, movie fans. Welcome to Movie Review Talk only on Collider. This is it. This is the last show of 2018, and it's just you and me. No guest critics. I'm very grateful for all the guest critics I've had this year. But you know what? Since I'm just counting down my favorite movies of the year, maybe they're not the best. There's a difference between the best and my favorite. These are my favorite movies of the year. I just wanted to share it with you, so I'm just going to be flying solo on this one. So let's get right to it. Counting down from 10 to 1. At number 10, A Star is Born. Not the movie, Rami Malek, A Star is Born. I love A Star is Born, the movie, but Bohemian Rhapsody, in my opinion, is the better film. The rise of Queen, the rise of Freddie Mercury. This is a rousing, uplifting, very entertaining movie. It starts off a little bit formulaic as a formulaic rock biopic, but it gets better as it goes along. The second hour of this movie, it really hits its stride. And Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury, you really get a feel for the character, how great he was, how lonely he was, how flawed he was. And it's an amazing performance. And talk about the very best scene of any movie that you will see in any film from 2018. That last 20 minutes, the Live Aid scene. You know, you could have had someone reading from a phone book before that, and the last 20 minutes of this movie would have made the film. That last scene with Live Aid was superb. It was fantastic. And here's a film about an entertainer who died of AIDS in 1991. By all rights, it should have been downbeat. It should have, been kind of depressing towards the end, but that was A Star is Born. Bohemian Rhapsody, directed by Bryan Singer with an assist by Dexter Fletcher, produced by Graham King. They made this movie right. It opened the whole door for a whole new generation of people to discover the greatness of Queen. The movie is fantastic. Like I said, it gets better as it goes along. Rami Malek is fantastic. Yes, he's going to get nominated for an Academy Award, but you know what? In my opinion, he should win the Oscar for his performance as Freddie Mercury. I've seen this movie 3 times, and I love it more and more every time I see it. So number 10 on my list is Bohemian Rhapsody. Number 9, the best superhero movie of the year. That's right, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. This is the best animated movie of the year. It's the best superhero movie of the year. What a surprise. I grew up with Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. And this movie just really did something special. It was fresh, it was vibrant, it was very, very different from the other Spider-Man movies, of course, because it was animated. And talk about groundbreaking animation, the likes of which we have never seen before. For that reason alone, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was a great movie. But then there's the heart. There's the humor. We finally get to see Miles Morales become Spider-Man, but there are a whole lot of other Spider people, including a Spider-Ham. Basically, the success of this movie rests on the fact that anyone watching this movie will see a version of themselves on the big screen, even a pig because of Spider-Ham. But you got men, women, everyone will see themselves on the screen. And if you grew up loving Peter Parker as Spider-Man, you will see a version of Peter Parker that you've never seen before. Here's what I think of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's the It's a Wonderful Life of Spider-Man movies. Think about it. Peter Parker is George Bailey, and Miles Morales is Clarence. When you go back and rewatch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you'll see it there. I mean, it's not what they were going for, but that's what I got out of it, and it's all subjective anyway. Let's face it, that's what this is all about. And what a profound cameo by the late, great Stan Lee. I saw this movie for the first time while Stan Lee was still with us, and then I saw it again after he passed away, and his comments, his scene, his cameo was just meant something completely different. And after 20 straight years of superhero movies, starting with Blade, then X-Men in 2000, then you get into the Spider-Man movies, then you get into the Dark Knight movies, then you get into the MCU. The comic book movie genre has grown, has evolved, has sustained itself with a lot of movies that have kept it fresh, but none more than Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Number 9 on my list, and an instant classic by any measure. Moving along, number 8, Can You Ever Forgive Me, directed by Marielle Heller. A deep, poignant, and profound film. Great performances and great chemistry from co-stars Melissa McCarthy and Richard E. Grant. I love this movie. Marielle Heller really made New York City a character in the film. It's moody, it's atmospheric, it's deep. You really care about these characters. You really feel for the loneliness that they have and the bond that they share with each other when they go off and they start to do something together. As wrong as it is, it really is a terrific film. And, in the end, it's based on a true story. And as you see in the film, the punishment fits the crime. It does not have a typical Hollywood ending. Can You Ever Forgive Me? One of the best movies of the year. Number 8 on my list. Moving right along. Coming in at number 7. Splashing down at number 7. You see where I'm going here? First Man. Directed by Damien Chazelle, his 4th movie. I gotta say, I love Damien Chazelle. Of course, yeah, I know, you all know how much I love La La Land. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. That movie really hit me. I connected with that movie. I related to that film. But I am also at heart a big fat space junkie, and ever since I was a little kid, I read all these books about the space race: Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. I knew everything there was to know about the space race. I love The Right Stuff. I love Apollo 13. I love From the Earth to the Moon, the HBO miniseries that captured the Apollo missions. But First Man was a movie about the space race, the likes of which we have never seen before. It was so gritty. It was so visceral. First Man is not just a movie you watch. It's a movie you feel. It stripped the space race of the gloss and polish that we've seen before in other movies, and it really deconstructed the Apollo program, the likes of which we have never seen. This is an overlooked film. I feel like people just kind of abandoned it. It's not getting enough love at the award shows, and I really feel like this is a masterpiece movie. And Ryan Gosling's performance as Neil Armstrong, this is a meditation on grief. He has great scenes with Claire Foy, who plays his wife, and she is also terrific in this movie. First Man might have been overlooked. People might not appreciate it now, but I really hope that time is good to First Man, and there's still a chance it might get some love from the Academy Awards when those nominations are announced at the end of January. First Man, number 7 on my list. I loved it when I first saw it at Telluride. I've seen the movie 4 times now. Saw it in IMAX, and boy, is that the way to see this movie. First Man is first-rate entertainment, and number 7 on my list. Number 6. A movie I saw, and I'll never forget seeing this movie at the world premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival, the opening night film at South by Southwest back in March. This is A Quiet Place, directed by John Krasinski, his 3rd movie, and whoa, what a game changer for him. Who knew that he could direct a movie like this? That's not a slight in any way, just the whole movie was a big fat surprise. Very, very clever film. Incredible and unexpected. Original, fresh, scary, and intense. But what makes this movie work more than anything is that it has a big heart. You really feel for this family. There's a lot of subtext to this movie, too. A lot of allegories to raising a family in this day and age. There's a lot to this movie. There's more than meets the eye and the ears, which is why I think of A Quiet Place as the Get Out of 2018. I love this movie. Emily Blunt is fantastic in this film. She got nominated for Supporting Actress for Screen Actors Guild. I hope she gets nominated for an Academy Award as well. Millicent Simmons as the daughter, she is also fantastic in this movie. And I love that last moment of the movie. If you've seen the film, you know what scene I'm talking about. Great ending to a great film. A Quiet Place. Silence is golden. Number 6 on my list for the best of 2018. Now we get to number 5. I don't know, 22 years later, 6 movies in, the Mission Impossible series. man, this series keeps getting better and better. Directed by Christopher McQuarrie, Mission Impossible Fallout. It's the only time we've seen a director return in this series for a sequel, and Christopher McQuarrie is obviously the go-to guy for these movies. He's a great director. He's also an Oscar winner for writing The Usual Suspects, so he really knows how to plot his films. Smart story that recalls the previous 5 Mission movies, which makes Fallout the Skyfall, James Bond. It is the Skyfall of the Mission Impossible series. Best action movie of the year, best action movie in years. Tom Cruise, nobody does it better. Great practical stunts, really keeps you on the edge of your seat. Mission Impossible, it's not just a great action movie, it's a great movie, period. Fallout, number 5 on my list. Number 4, documentary. There's a documentary on my list. A lot of people were talking about this documentary, and I am not talking about the Mr. Rogers movie. Won't You Be My Neighbor? I love that film. Everybody loves that film. It does seem to be the front runner to win the Oscar for Best Documentary. But the movie that I liked more, the documentary that I liked more, because it stayed with me and it was not what I expected, is 3 Identical Strangers. Wow, what a movie. I saw this at Sundance, and this movie about 3 triplets separated at birth. Neither knows the other exists. Then, in the early 80s, they are brought together in such a feel-good story. It was wonderful. It made you feel so good. The success they had, the fame they got, the love that they shared. It was a wonderful, incredible story. And it made me feel so good. But then I'm looking down at my watch, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. This movie's only 20 minutes in. Where is this going? Well, that is what makes 3 Identical Strangers a great film and an unforgettable one. Because when you realize why they were separated, when you realize why they were even born in the first place, the answer will shock you. It is disturbing, it is unnerving, it is tragic. Okay, not the feel-good movie that Won't You Be My Neighbor is, but it is a far more engrossing and unforgettable movie because of the stakes of this film. And that is why, and I'm a very happy-go-lucky guy, and I'm choosing the movie that was more disturbing, which speaks volumes about the power of 3 Identical Strangers. Number 4 on my list. Now moving on to number 3. I've been hearing about this movie for months, and yes, Roma. Written and directed by Alfonso Cuarón, Oscar-winning director of Gravity. This is a personal film, bold and ambitious, black and white, 2.5 hours, no score, long takes, which is not a surprise coming from Alfonso Cuarón. He does love those long takes. But this is a film. So the first time I saw Roma at the Telluride Film Festival with Emma Stone sitting right behind me, that was pretty cool. I liked the movie a lot. It took a little while to get going, but the second part of the film really got me. But this is a movie that I've now seen 3 times, and the more I see it, the more I like it. I'm able to take it in. I get it. I know where it's going. I know what Alfonso Cuarón was trying to do here, and it is a film that has, I would say, it reaps bigger rewards the more times you see it. Roma really is as good as everyone says it is. It is a masterpiece film. It is an amazing movie. It is a front runner to win the Oscar for Best Picture, and it should, because it is phenomenal. It is brilliant. Roma, number 3 on my list. Number 2 on my list, another Sundance movie. See, this is why I love going to Sundance. I've gone 17 years in a row, and I'm about to hit number 18 at the end of January 2019. But when I saw this movie back at Sundance in January, almost a year ago, I knew that this was special because it passed the test. Yes, 8th grade. Written and directed by Bo Burnham, starring Elsie Fisher as, you know, in public, she's very shy, but when she does her YouTube videos, she has a lot of charisma, a lot of confidence. Gucci, this movie is wonderful. It's one of the best high school, well, not high school, it's the best growing up coming-of-age movies I've ever seen. It is gritty, it's raw, it's uncompromising. At first, I called it the Lady Bird of 2018, but it's actually a far better movie than Lady Bird because it's not polished, it's very raw, it's very real. It is a real film for this generation, but every generation will find a lot to love about 8th Grade. And Josh Hamilton, who plays Elsie Fisher's father in this movie. Talk about Father of the Year award. He is fantastic in this movie. 8th Grade is a superb film, and this really, 8th Grade, this is what Sundance is all about. To debut a discovery like 8th Grade and to see it go the distance from its great reviews out of Sundance. And then when it opened in the middle of the summer, and it stood out against all the big superhero movies and blockbusters. And now at the end of the year, it's getting a lot of love from critics groups, from award shows, from guilds, and it should. 8th Grade gets an A+, number 2 on my list. Okay, this is it. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, everyone who's been watching me on the Movie Review Talk and on For Your Consideration, I got to tell you, I've had a really, really great time working with everyone here at Collider. So for me to finally announce my number 1 favorite movie of 2018, this is a special moment. Again, it's just you and me. So here it is, my number one favorite movie of the year. This is a movie I have seen 5 times. It is a movie that I could watch over and over again, and I already have. But if I still had cable, because I don't, but if I still had it, and I was flipping through the channels, and I came across this movie, I would stop and watch it because I just love it that much. That movie is Green Book, directed by Peter Farrelly. I love this movie. It is a feel-good crowd pleaser all the way. I know there's been a lot of talk about this movie. It has its criticisms, and it's had some controversy. But I'm just watching the movie for what it is. I love the film. It is a perfect blend of depth, of heart, of humor. Mahershala Ali, Viggo Mortensen are great together. The friendship that they formed, based on a true story from 1962. The movie is so refreshingly straightforward, not what I expected from Peter Farrelly, who along with his brother Bobby gave us Dumb and Dumber and There's Something About Mary and Shallow Hal. This movie does have humor, but it has an even bigger heart. It is a great screenplay with great dialogue, and in the end, it is a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie, and that makes it an instant classic and an instant Christmas classic. I could watch this movie over and over again, and I will, and when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to sleep with Green Book under my pillow. It's that good. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Collider fans, everyone who's been watching Movie Review Talk, there it is, my top 10 of 2018. Just to go through it again: Bohemian Rhapsody, Spiderman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, First Man, A Quiet Place, Mission Impossible Fallout, Three Identical Strangers, Roma, 8th Grade, and Green Book. And before I sign off, I just want to give a very, very big thank you to all of my friends at Collider, for Christian Harloff for suggesting that I do the show, Mark Fernandez for giving me the outlet here, to the one and only Perry Nemiroff. Perry Normal Activity, Perry Vision herself. She's been my great producer, and as the last 7 months have gone on, you've been seeing her a lot by my side doing Review Talk, and you are going to see that continue into 2019 a whole lot more, because she is a great friend, she is a great co-pilot, she definitely knows movies, and let me tell you something, she works her tail off. She is the hardest working person I know. I want to give a big shout out, a big thank you to all of my Collider friends: Cody, Copster, Dennis, Roca, Thad, Wendy, Josh, Mark Riley, Mark Ellis, basically everyone at Collider. If I forgot someone, I'm just including all of you because you were all great. And most of all, really, I want to thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching me every week on Movie Review Talk. For everyone who shared Movie Review Talk, for everyone who shared the podcast, for everyone who commented below on YouTube with the great comments, thank you for that. Thank you for always being respectful. Thank you for always being supportive. Thank you for coming back every week. And thank you for ensuring that I will be back with more Movie Review Talk in 2019. So Happy New Year. Happy 2019. And until the next time, here's looking at you, kid.
Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode. You want to watch more? Then click up here. Or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. If you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.